Okay. It, let's see. It looks like we're live. Are we live? Okay. All right. So, let me get this set up real quick and look at what's going on here. Hold on. Let me mute. Okay. All right. So it looks like I have a little bit of delay here. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. All right, so you guys, today what we're going to talk about is that there's no justified resentment. Okay, so let me get here. Let's see. Wait for a few people to log on. And okay. All right, so the topic here today is that there's no justified resentment. A lot of times what happens is that we feel that we have a right to be resentful, and a lot of different things that's going on in our life, the things that have happened to us. And it feels like, oh, well, I have the right to be angry with this person because they've done this or that, It's difficult sometimes because you have a tendency of thinking that, hey, this person did this to me, so hey, I have that right. You see what I'm saying? Oh, hi, Deborah. How are you doing? I'm sorry. So this, I'm just kind of noticing, and there is a little bit of a lag here. So it's a little weird kind of watching myself on here, and this delay is happening. So I'm not really sure exactly what's going on with that. But anyways, all right. So the bottom line here is when we hold resentment, we have a tendency of harming ourselves. That is the thing that seems to get us the most. We're not, you think that when you hold this resentment that you're like, you've given yourself permission to hold on to it because this person did harm, so why should I give them the right to say, hey, it's okay? But that's not actually the truth. The truth is that when you are holding on to this resentment, the person that's getting hurt is you. There's this thing I love, about Wayne Dyer, and he said, and that a person doesn't die from a snake bite. It's the venom that pours through the body after the snake bite that continues to pour through you that actually kills you. So it's not the bite that does it. It's the venom. So when you're holding on to resentment, what you're doing is you're holding on to a lot of resentment, and see, it seems like for some reason I see that there's 7 watching, but I am not seeing people pop into the room. So make sure that you're saying hi. Oh, thank you, Camille. I really appreciate it. What is it, Ellie? You're Camille on Facebook, is that right? Camille Love on Facebook. Oh, okay, great. Okay, so because of the lag, I'm not seeing people pop in as fast. It says that there's 7 watching, but unfortunately, this I'm getting like close to a minute of a lag. So I apologize. I'll try to get to the comments as fast as possible. Okay, so anyways, all right, so it is a little distracting when I'm looking at myself, and it's like I'm looking at myself talking like minutes before, so I feel like I'm in the Twilight Zone. So it's a little strange. So I apologize if I tend to stop for a second. So I think what I might do is just kind of, look slightly off a little bit so I'm not distracted by this like lag here. So anyways, all right. Okay. Hey, Deborah, thank you for joining. I appreciate it. Okay. So, thank you so much. Thank you guys so much. Okay. So let's get into this. Okay. So the thing is that resentment is the thing that actually harms you. Now, this is the hardest one for most people to let go of. Okay. And it really kind of boils down to forgiveness, but how do you forgive somebody who's done something really hurtful to you? I mean, they cheated on you. They abused you. They sexually molested you. They took your kids from you and ran to another country. You're feeling all this resentment. Oh, yes. Okay, Anton, sorry about that. No. Okay, so I'm going to kind of stop for a second. You guys, actually, Trisha is got some kind of eye infection type thing going on, and her eye's like all blown up, and she can't get on camera. She said that she was going to log on and make some comments and stuff. So just kind of pay attention to the comments. She's supposed to be getting on pretty soon. So in fact, if I find my phone here, I'll send her a message real quick and tell her that we are on, but she can't get in front of a camera right now. So she's, hold on a second. Let me send her a message. Let me tell her. I'll tell her that people are asking about her. Hold on. Okay, sorry about the wait here. Okay, send her a message. Okay, so anyways, tell her to wear a fake eye. That's really quite funny. Yeah, actually, that would have been the answer, is to put like maybe like one of those eye patches that you know, like what are they called? They used to, you know, like a long time ago, anyway, the eye patches. Anyway, so sometimes I have not sunglasses, the eye patch, like a one black eye patch, you know, that kind of thing. Hey, Judith, how are you? Nice to see you. Thank you for joining. Hey, you guys, I really appreciate you guys coming from Facebook and joining. Please hit the like button. I really appreciate it if you do. What that does is it puts me up closer to where other people can see the video. So the more people that, a pirate, thank you. You'd show your puffed eye. That's funny. That's funny, Anton. Well, you know, girls are a little bit more vain. And I don't think I'd go live if I had a puffed up eye. So anyways, it's, yeah. So anyways, all right. So let's since we got quite a few people on now, let's go ahead and get on topic here. Okay. So, all right. So everybody has somebody in their life that has really screwed them over. Okay. If you guys have not watched my show before, I have a tendency of using colorful metaphors. Please don't get offended. I have a different way of looking at things. Okay. My reality or my truth or my way of doing things is be real. And so I am not going to fake it for you guys. Who I am is who I am. Okay. And sometimes I feel like colorful metaphors are the best way to express an intensity. So that's just how I am. Okay. What does that mean, Anton? The ones who tried to screw you over got screwed up. Oh, revenge. Okay, well that's a good one. Okay, got it. All right. You guys are funny. All right, I miss you guys so much. You know, I tell you what, it was so much fun doing all the Facebook lives, and I am basically really kind of converting over to YouTube because Facebook's just getting to, it's driving me crazy with all the marketing and too many people selling makeup and jewelry, and it's just like overwhelming, and it's just changed so much. So I've just kind of decided that I need to hit a larger audience anyway. So this is what I'm doing. I do this all, you know, just the love of my heart. I'm just trying to help you guys. I live in Houston. Yes, please like and share. Please like and share. And also to you guys, I'm offering something really awesome. If you send me an email and you say that you liked and you shared, I will send you a copy of my book. An ebook, obviously, it's not going to be a hard copy. But if you do that, if you send me an email saying, hey, I liked and shared, I'm just going to take you on your word and I'll send you a copy of my book. Okay. So this is just a way for me to encourage you guys, and also to please, please, please subscribe to my channel, because you get the notifications. And, you know, so, and there's also, if you go under the playlist, you'll see a lot of like videos that I've done that are like hypnosis videos and other type of things. Like there's a meditation, there's a 5-minute meditation that teaches you how to meditate. I'm going to, so Trisha and I were going to talk about chakras and tonight, before she had the eye problem. And I decided that I was going to make a meditation on chakras so that you can clear your chakras. So that's going to be posted not too long from now, as soon as I get it made. I haven't had time. I was booked all day today and have been, and the universe has just been blessing me with so many people. I say really, really busy. So all of this that I'm doing for you guys is like, this is just me trying to help raise the consciousness of the world. So anyways, again, I am real. If you've never seen me before, I just am me. I don't try to fake it. I really believe that you can really, yes, business is a booming. I really believe that you do not have to, you know, live like, you know, a nun to be spiritual. And, you know, the biggest thing about spirituality is that connection with the divine. And what it really means is to be love. Okay. And this is really kind of the topic of what I'm talking about, is letting go of your resentment so you can be love. So what does love look like? Okay. Love is where you love somebody regardless. I'm not telling you that you have to become a victim. I'm not saying that you have to say what they did was okay. What I'm saying is you let go of that resentment. We all have, everybody has, I have had people screw me over. I had a business partner years ago that stole $10,000 from me. I had I was subleasing a space in an office when I had an advertising business years ago. And the guy ended up having a massive heart attack. And so his ex-wife came in and took all the equipment and everything and all my computer stuff, everything that I owned, I was working on all these projects, and she decided that she was just going to take it all. And I couldn't get in contact with her, and I just lost it all. I mean, and that put me under. I mean, it actually caused me to lose my business. There's been a lot of things that have happened to me in my life, and yet I actually forgave him. I actually contacted him probably about 7 or 8 years ago and said, I forgive you. And he said, I feel so much like sorrow. And he was like, I never thought you would talk to me ever again. And I said, look, you know what? This is the past. I remember who you were, and I care about you, and I'm not going to hold on to this. And I didn't do it for him. I did it for me. Okay. Because all of that pain that I was holding on to by losing my business, losing everything, all of that stuff was causing this internal like cancer to eat at me. And it really tumbled me down into a dark space. And I had to get out of that dark space. And the only way that I could get out of the dark space was to forgive him. So I actually forgave him before I actually found him. I ended up finding him on Facebook about 7 or 8 years ago, but I forgave him way before that. But it was just that acknowledgement that I had completely let it go. And it was, because I tried to contact him, and tried to contact his wife, and I got no response for years and years and years. And I just expressed how I felt. He apologized. I said, it's done, it's over with. And I just let it go. Now, it's not the easiest thing. And the guy that had stole $10,000 from me, I did not want to let that go. I was really angry with him because he would sit at Starbucks and with his Bible and claim to be a preacher and stuff. And then he took all this money from me. And, you know, it was really horrifying to me. And it just really kind of like solidified how much I couldn't stand people who claim to be Christians. Now, I'm not that way anymore. Boy, I was feeling that way for a long time. And that anger and that frustration, it just festered inside of me. Hey, Trisha's here, you guys. She's in the chat room. So say hi to her and tell her that you're sending her love. So if any of you guys are healers, is there anybody in here that is a healer? If you are, say, I'm a healer. Okay. If there is, please acknowledge, because we need to be sending Trisha some healing energy because of her eye is all puffy, and she needs some love energy. She's been having some problems with that. It keeps on reoccurring. Deborah, you're a healer. I did not know that. Okay. Do you do Reiki? I'm waiting for the response. Yeah. As soon as I find out, yeah, Judith is, no, not Judith. No, Deborah Tucker. Trisha, do you know Deborah Tucker? I'm pretty sure you do, because I think that she showed up in some of our shows. Yeah, we think it might be something emotional. And so no, just oils and sending love. Okay, but sending love is good. Okay, we're all natural healers. So if you guys could just take a moment for a second and just like close your eyes for a second, like put your hands out like this and just send some love, lots and lots of love to Trisha. And just kind of focus in on the eye area and just imagine how much you love her and how much she's one of the kindest people I think I've ever met. I think she's even nicer than me. And I think I'm a nice person, but she's really nice. So you guys like really just send some love to her. Okay. Yeah, it's like I said, it might be something that's associated with something emotional. So, but we're not going to get into Trisha's personal stuff. You're welcome, Trisha. All right, so let's get into this, okay? All right, so good. Thank you, Judith. I appreciate it. You guys are so awesome, so supportive. All right, so let's get into this. Blame has to go, okay? If you carry around any resentment, it will always harm you. If you're waiting on others, you will never get over it. If you are waiting on somebody else, okay, you're waiting on that person to say, I'm sorry. Well, that's not going to happen. Most likely it won't happen. And if you're waiting on someone else, you will never get over it. But if you actually, you take responsibility, then you can get rid of it. Okay. So like, I'll use my example of the guy. Okay. So he had a heart attack and then his ex-wife took all the computer stuff. But you know, when he got well, he could have contacted me and said, hey, Michelle, I have your stuff. But no, that didn't happen. Years went by and who knows what happened with all that stuff. Okay. So I could have held on to that resentment and I did. Okay. So I'm not going to lie. I did. This was probably 20 years ago, but I held on to the resentment and it tumbled me down, you guys. I went into a very dark space. Now, I'm not saying I worship the devil or any of that kind of stuff. Okay. But it might as well have been because of the place that I was in, you know, it really took me into a dark space and there was no love in me because I was so angry. And And so that anger just built like a cancer. And I eventually had to kind of come back to self because, you know, I knew who I was, and I was allowing this event to actually destroy me. And so I started back on my meditation practice, and I realized that I needed to let this go, and I need to take some kind of responsibility here. Okay. The responsibility, like we are like, well, how do you take responsibility for something that isn't your fault? Well, no, it wasn't my fault, but I'm going to take responsibility because on some level, there was something that could have caused this. There's something, I don't know, you know, but it really doesn't matter. The responsibility that I have is that I can let go of this, and I can just say, okay, you know what, for whatever reason you were not in this place, you had a heart attack, you went to Hawaii to try to heal, maybe you forgot, you know, maybe the ex-wife wasn't letting you have the stuff back, you know, maybe she took it from you. I don't know, but I'm not going to hold on to this anger anymore, because the anger is killing me. Okay. It's keeping me from being happy. And so what I did was I let it go. Okay. Yeah. Hey, Trisha, that's funny. Off the subject for a second here, but before you logged on, everybody was saying that you needed to wear an eye patch and just log on that way. But actually, we're going to do next week, if her eye is doing well, we're going to do a show on chakras, and I'm going to create a meditation chakra for you guys to watch as well. So you can, I still can. If you have, hey, Trisha, if you have an eye patch and you have a way of doing that, feel free, just let me know and I'll send you a link and you can hop on. But anyways, all right. Y'all are funny. Okay. All right. So getting back to the answer. Okay. So one of the things that I found is when you send love, that it heals everything. So I'm going to tell you a little story. I was married for 13 years, 15 years. I don't know, a long time. I got married at a really young age. I was 20 years old, 21 years old, something like that. I was really young. And my husband had a lot of anger, and he wasn't supportive about a lot of stuff. And we were like two strangers that lived in a house. I mean, we didn't have anything in common. We didn't ever talk. We put on a really good show for everybody. Like, we were this super happy couple out in public, but he was into hunting and fishing and boating and, football and fantasy football. And he was constantly going and doing these things with other people. And, there was no interaction time. There was no us time. We just didn't have a connection. And it was really difficult. So after we got a divorce, he got very, very angry because he didn't ever want to get a divorce, because he did love me. And although he didn't show it, he did love me. And he was really angry for a long time. And that anger just festered and festered because he didn't want to get a divorce. He didn't want his family broken up. And I just got to a point to where I couldn't take all the emotional abuse. So I finally decided to leave. And when I did, the fighting started, because we really didn't fight so much because we never saw each other. But when we did see each other, there was a little bit of fighting, and it was usually a lot of blame that he put on my part, or a lot of screaming my name. It was Michelle, and so most of the time I just got to a point where I just started ignoring him because, I just didn't feel like dealing with this crap, So I decided that I wanted to live a happy life, and I couldn't do it with somebody constantly, abusing me emotionally. So in the process, after the divorce, he got even angrier, and he really got mean. I mean, like really, really mean. And I was like, through this whole process, I was like, oh my God, I cried all the time. I was like, why is he doing this to me? Why is he doing this to me? And one of my cousin actually said to me, Michelle, she goes, you don't have to take this. You're not married to him anymore. You don't have to take it. You can hang up, or you can not answer the phone, or, whatever. You don't have to listen to him. You don't have to be there. And I really kind of listened to that for a second, and I realized he was right. But then I was talking to somebody else, and they told me, they said, Michelle, as long as you hold on to this anger, you're never going to be able to be happy. And I realized that I had to forgive him, and there was no way possible for me to walk this spiritual path with all this anger in my heart. And here I was trying to be Miss Spiritual, and I had all this anger. So I chose to forgive him. But what I needed to do was tell him that I forgave him. But I knew that if I had a conversation with him, that he was gonna like, oh yeah, and he was gonna gloat on it, and there was gonna be all kinds of things that were gonna come up, and he was gonna cause blame, and he was gonna really just berate me. And so I was sitting here going, how do I have this conversation saying, I'm taking responsibility for my part and us never connecting, for you always being angry, and I'm forgiving you for how you treated me. How can I do that without him being the kind of person that he is, without him coming back and just making me feel worse as a person? So I decided what I was going to do was talk to his spirit. So I went into a deep meditation, and I just imagined seeing him, and I told him, I love you, and maybe I didn't love you as much as I should have loved you. Maybe I should have loved you more. Maybe I should have forgiven you more. Maybe I should have been there more. Maybe I should have gone fishing with you. Maybe and I started to think of, instead of you hurt me, you hurt me, you hurt me. And I started to think about, why was he so angry? And maybe there was a part of me that caused him to be that angry. And so I decided that I was going to tell him that I was sorry that I really didn't commit in this marriage, like at the level that I should have committed. I should have been more proactive. I should have tried to like the things he liked, and been, and shared with him, and been open, and not been so narrow-minded. And so I did this in this meditation. I told him that I forgave him. I took responsibility for my part in this marriage failing. And I did this all in a meditation. Okay. And as I was doing this, I felt this love, I just kind of sent love to him, and I felt love coming back. Now, here's the weird thing. Okay. Listen to this. This is what happened. Okay. Here's what happened. The next time that I saw him or spoke to him, I think it was a call, and he called me to say that he wanted to trade weekends with, Taylor. And he goes, I was wondering if I could have next weekend instead, and we can just trade weekends, because Taylor's Uncle Morris wants to take him hunting. And so I said, okay. And he goes, well, and it's because of, and he started and I goes, Michael, you don't have to go any further. I said, okay. He goes, okay, well, I'll give you next weekend. And I said, it's okay. Don't worry about it. We're good. This is all for Taylor. It's something he wants to do, right? And he said, yes. And I said, okay, then don't worry about it. Just, maybe sometime when I need something special, you'll give it to me. And he goes, okay. And so basically I was like, being super nice to him and super sweet. I wasn't being ugly. I wasn't like, what do you want? And I wasn't being mean. I wasn't sarcastic. I wasn't short. I was really sweet. I was like, it's okay. Don't worry about it. Whatever you need. And he didn't know what to do with that. Like, he started stuttering. Like, he didn't know what to do with me being nice. And it really kind of showed me that, holy cow, like, I caught him off guard because I was being nice. And from that moment on, every time he called, I'd go, hey, Michael, how's it going? And he would be like, like he didn't know what to do. He didn't know what to do with any of that. And it was really kind of funny. So I realized that just by sending love and that little meditation thing, it's like I talk to a spirit. So you don't even have to like go and have a conversation with that person. You just talk to their spirit and like just have a conversation with them, and let your spirit talk to their spirit, just kind of go deep into the deepest part of who you are and allow that part to, to happen. Don't let this subconscious emotional content get in the way. Go into the deepest part of yourself and do the release there. Okay. And try it like that. Oh, thank you, Deborah. It wasn't easy. I've actually gone through a lot in my life, and you can probably pick a subject, and I can tell you a story about it. I've had clients tell me, "Is there anything that you haven't experienced in your life?" Yeah, I've had some really, really, really serious pain that has come to me over the years. And it's amazing that I can actually sit here and laugh and cut up and smile and all this other stuff, because you think I'd be like locked in a mental institute or turn schizophrenic or something. And maybe I am, who knows? Anyways, but yeah, so it's the reality is that I decided to take the path of spirituality. And when I chose to take that path, I knew that I had to be as true and as real to it as possible. Because the biggest problem that I had with people that were Christians is that they were fake. And I don't want to be a fake. So I had to be as real. And this is something I had to do. Now, it wasn't easy. Okay. It wasn't easy to forgive somebody that hurt me so bad. I mean, I didn't want to. Okay. I mean, seriously, it was difficult, but I did it because I didn't do it for him. I did it for me. Okay. I did it because I needed to be able to get rid of this pain. And the only way to get rid of the cancer was to release it. And the only way to release it is to release it through forgiveness. And the only way to do that is through love. So let's talk about spiritual evolution for a second, okay? When you think of God or the divine and all of that, you're thinking, what is it? Like, who is it? Like, what is it made up of? And when I ask people this question, they usually say love, right? So exactly, you are absolutely right. And anyway, so when you think of God, or you think of the divine, the I am presence, the universe, consciousness, whatever you want to call it, when you think of that, its essence is love. Okay. And when you think about love, I mean, so our goal here is to evolve and to eventually kind of merge with that presence, go back to God. Okay. That's the goal but we have to become pure love to be able to do that. So the evolution of our soul is to learn how to forgive and to get to a point where we become love. And you guys, the thing is you've got to stop being a candle. Okay. Because what happens with a candle, right? I don't have a lighter. Oh, I was going to have a candle here, but I don't have a lighter. Oh yeah, I do. All right. So I'm going to light this for a second. All right. So I got the candle. Okay, so this is me. I'm the candle. And what happens when Joe Blow comes over here and I'm just glowing? I'm so happy. I'm the candle, la, la, la. And then somebody comes over and what do? And that's all it took. That's all it took, you guys. All right. That's it. So if you are a candle, you're going to get blown out. Somebody's going to say something bad about you. Somebody's going to hurt you. Somebody's going to offend you. Somebody's going to do something. Or you can be the light. Okay? And with the light, you expand yourself with love. Okay? So how do you do that? How do you be love? Well, first off, you got to start with your insides, okay? And you got to start forgiving everything that you've ever done to yourself, okay? Ooh, that one's a hard one. You got to let go of the resentment that you're holding on to yourself. Now, we've been sitting here talking about the resentment that you have against others, but what about the resentment that you have against yourself? Oh, wow. Michelle, that's hard, right? That's difficult. That is a difficult subject right there. So, exactly. That is right. That is exactly right. Is there anyone in here that doesn't have any resentment against themselves? I mean, come on, you have to have done something that you're really upset with yourself over. You know, I get upset with myself sometimes. I get forgetful a lot, okay? And it gets really quite annoying because I don't know how many times I get in the car and I have to go back in the house and get in the car and go back in the house, get in the car and go back in the house. Oh, I forgot my phone. Oh, I forgot my this. I forgot that, you know. One time I actually was responsible for a cake and I literally got in the car and drove almost all the way to the shower without the cake. And so that forgetfulness was like really starting to get on my nerves, you know, and I was just like, why am I doing this? And I would get so angry with myself. Okay. And I had to finally get to a point where I just started to accept myself. Okay. I had to accept this. And I noticed that when I started to accept who I was and stop hating myself for constantly forgetting things, that I was able to put like little like things into my life to help me with not being so forgetful. And it really helped a lot. I mean, I started to develop a habit. One of the things I used to do was lose my driver's license all the time. And I mean, I was constantly losing my driver's license. So I hated wallets, you know, they just seemed to get on my nerves. So one of the things that I ended up finding was like a wallet purse. And so I was able to like something like this, you know, and you know, and it's got like a handle and it's got like a little space in the inside. And I was able, and so like I can actually stick it. It's small enough to where I can stick it inside of a larger purse. And if I don't want to carry the larger purse and all I want to do is carry that, I can just carry that. So that was the biggest thing that I had why I would lose my driver's license all the time, is because I didn't want to carry this big purse. And so I would like stick my my driver's license and credit card in my pocket or in my bra or something like that, and it'd fall out and I couldn't find it. And I was constantly doing that. So when I started to forgive myself, when I stopped holding the resentment against myself, when I stopped and I started problem solving, and I was like, how can I get past this? How can I get over this? How can I work through this? How can I fix this? And I was able to actually fix the problem and find a different solution. And it was able to conquer that problem. So I never lose my driver's license or my credit card anymore. That doesn't happen. I have like a checklist that I go over, things like, did you do this? Did you do this? Did you do this? You know, making sure that I do everything that I'm supposed to do. I put little notifications on my phone to make sure I'm doing this. I put everything on my calendar, on my schedule. So I find that all of those things, you know, it helps. And so many other people, they say, well, why should I have to do that? I should be able to remember. Well, you know, not everybody's perfect. Okay. And I've decided that I'm going to love my imperfections and the things that I really need to resolve and the things that I need to do. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do it. So you guys are really funny. Okay. That's funny. Okay. Funny. Good evening, all arriving late. Oh, hi, Michelle Lebec. How are you doing? Yeah. So anyways, you might, whenever you get a chance, if you later on, maybe just watch the replay. But anyways, so the thing is that you guys, we just got through talking about resentment for other people, but what about the resentment within yourself? You know, you've got to let go of that pain inside of you and start forgiving yourself and say, it's okay. And I'm accepting myself. And then the big thing that you want to do is you want to go ahead and start asking yourself, instead of asking yourself, why can't I? Why don't you start asking yourself, how can I? Why can't I remember all this stuff? Why can't I, just not lose my driver's license? Or why can't I remember the cake? Well, okay, so let's try it a different way. How can I keep from losing my driver's license? How can I do this? And so when you start doing that, you start finding solutions, okay? So you want to problem solve, okay? And problem solving is going to fix the problems and move you forward so that you're not constantly berating yourself, okay? If you're constantly holding on to resentment, that resentment builds every day, okay? And it just never ends. The resentment that you have for somebody else, the resentment that you have for yourself, and it just builds. And every day you wake up and you're still carrying it. But what if you just let go of it one day, okay? Then the next day you wake up and you don't have that holding over you anymore. It's gone. So you actually have a day of freedom. And then what if you have 2 days of freedom and 3 days of freedom? I mean, it just keeps on coming up. And it's like you find that you start getting a lot more peace. This peace is going to come when you let go of this anger that you have at yourself. Let go of that anger. So you want to let go of the anger towards other people, and you want to let go of the anger towards yourself. Okay. So now the question was, how do you send love? Okay. Whoa, you just said it, Ellie. It's glow from the core. Okay. So what you're going to do is you've got to forgive yourself first. Okay. Do some inner cleansing. Okay. Clean out your temple and get rid of all the stuff that you don't need anymore. Yeah. All the anger, all the pain, all the resentment, all the hate, get rid of it all. Okay. And just, literally go through each one of them. Like I said, go into a meditation, go look at that person, bring their spirit in, tell them that you forgive them and let it go. Okay. I love you. I'm letting you go. Be at peace. Okay. And then you center yourself. Okay. Your energy is all out like this. Okay. And we'll have to do a show on energy one day, but when you're holding resentment and anger and the past, the future, all this other stuff, your energy's expanded all over the place. Okay. It's like, and especially if you're an empath. So it's like you have tentacles like everywhere. Okay. So what you need to do is just bring it all in. Okay. Just take it and bring it in. Sometimes doing yoga can help you with kind of bringing it all in. Bring it in and then center it. Okay. And bring it right into the center of yourself. Now, when you're focusing on the core, like Ellie said, okay, like when you're focused on the core and you're bringing it all in and you just stay right in there and just bring it all in. And sometimes I like to just kind of like imagine it's all out here and I'm just kind of like bring it in and do it all over the place. Do it on top of your head, here, just bring it all the way down to your feet and just bring it in and then just kind of bring your hands up like this and just kind of go like this back and forth just to kind of focus your energy on the core. And then when you get into the core, then what I want you to do is I want you to just start feeling love. Just feel it and channel it. Allow it just to kind of flow through you, feel it, and then allow it to expand. Okay. And then as it expands, just go ahead and let it like glow more and more and more and more and more. And this takes practice. It's not the easiest thing to do. Okay. And just let it glow, glow, glow. And then you just start sending it. Okay. Because you become the light. Okay. When you are love, when you become the light, when you're not the candle anymore and somebody just blows it out, somebody can't blow a light out. Okay. Somebody cannot blow a light out. So we have a situation that is current. Trisha and I do. Okay. So this is, and so I'm going to share it with you guys. I told some of you guys on Facebook. So you guys that didn't see that video, I'm going to kind of tell you about what's going on. And so basically, there's a group of us that have been helping each other. Okay. So I've been on some shows and they've, you know, and Trisha's been on different ones, and basically they kind of bring in different people, and there's like this network of people that have, like, you know, kind of shared, you know, you go over here, you go over here, you kind of show up and you talk about what you do and that kind of stuff. And it's basically, it's like growing the network. Okay. And everybody's doing this voluntarily. Everybody is doing it out of the love of their heart and, you know, trying to change the world, trying to, you know, help people evolve, trying to raise the consciousness of the world. Okay. So that's basically what's happening here is we're doing this to help people. No other reason, but just to help people. Okay. So in the process of doing this, apparently a couple of people got kind of jealous and literally called out by name a few people. And what that person said was to literally, like, let's take them down. And like, why? What are they doing? I mean, like, what are we doing that's upsetting them? Well, as I was watching the video, they didn't like the fact that the certain people in this group had such large audience, and there was a little bit of jealousy. And they were kind of making comments about the fact that they're considered masters, and they didn't like that. So it's like a lot of jealousy. So instead of getting upset, what I'm doing is I'm getting proactive. Okay. I'm sending love out to that person. I'm sending love out to all you guys. And I'm saying, you guys, I love you. Please help me. So I want everybody to put some likes up here. Okay. Like the channel, just like the channel, just like it. Just keep on putting likes. Okay. And that's going to help. Okay. That's what we need. We need you guys to basically fight this battle with us. Okay. We need you to send, you know, you show your love by liking the channel. Okay. Or not the channel, the show. And I appreciate it because I've gotten 8 likes so far, and I really appreciate that. So, you know, just keep this going. You guys that are watching the replay, when you watch the replay, please just like it. Just like it. Okay. Because that's going to help. And go over to Trisha's channel. And if you haven't watched any of these videos, you know, with me and her together, like that too, because we got 4 people that said they didn't like it. And that was before we even got started. I mean, it was like, as soon as we start streaming, it was like somebody was ready to click. Don't like, you know? And so here's my thing is that, you know, it is pretty sad. It really is pretty sad. But here's the thing. I'm not going to hold any resentment. I'm not going to hold any anger. I'm just going to be a light. And my light is like, yes, share it with a good comment. I agree. Absolutely, Judith. Thank you so much. You're so awesome. You know, the thing is that all I'm going to do is just be a light, because you know what? People that hurt people. Okay. So some reason or another, this guy is hurting. Okay. So I'm going to forgive him, and I'm going to send him love, because you know what? Maybe nobody's supporting him to grow his channel. You know, maybe he's really been putting out a lot of energy and he's never been able to grow any further. And so, you know, maybe there's some sadness in his life, and he needs that love. So maybe what we all need to do is just take a moment for a second and send this person love, and not mentioning names. Just imagine that somebody's doing something vicious and send them love. Okay. We don't want to hold on to any resentment. Okay. We just need to be the light, because when you're the light, you guys, when you are the light, nobody can blow out your candle. Okay. This doesn't happen. Here's what happens when people experience people in light. Okay. They either transform into light, or they completely go away because they're so appalled and they can't, and the light is so strong that they can't sit in that presence. So that light is going to literally push them away. Okay. Or they're going to transform. So one of two things is going to happen. So as long as we work together, you guys, and we are, thank you for the like, somebody just liked, yay, thank you. As long as we're working together and we're really pushing for, evolution of consciousness, and it's all about love, you guys, love, just love, always want to love. Yes. And you don't have to be a victim to love. You don't have to be actively involved in their life. I'm not planning on, stalking this person. I'm not going to try to be his best friend, but I'm not going to hold any resentment either. Okay. So, let's all just take a second and send this person love, because maybe that's all they need is the energy to be able to build their own channel, to be able to tell their own story so that they can grow. And instead of sending out ugly energy to us, maybe if we're sending good energy to him, then he'll leave us alone. Okay. And honestly, that's kind of like what happened to my ex-husband when I was telling you a story about him, is when I started sending love to him, when I started sending love to him, he basically changed. I mean, to this day, he's super nice to me. Like, it's just the craziest thing like you've ever seen. I'm going to read some comments here for a second. The jealousy is their Veldic chart, pretty sure. I'm not really sure that I understand. I am not really good with astrology or numerology or any of that kind of stuff or anything about charting. So Tim, if you don't mind kind of explaining that a little bit, that might even be a Trisha comment. I know that she's more into numerology, but maybe she would understand that. I know very little. Like, in fact, maybe I should just Google that for a second. I do not know what a Veldic chart is. Let's see. Let's see. Oh, it's astrology. Okay. All right. Okay. So I don't know much about that. Heidi can find it. Oh, okay. Okay. Well, maybe, I'm sure. And I don't know much about this person. I just know that I watched the video where he was actually calling out other people and asking them to team up against our little group. So he's like, take them down. And, and it just kind of blew my mind a little bit for a second. And then I took a moment to read him because I'm an energy reader. So, and the thing that I got from him was that he was unemployed, financially burdened, and that he had a whole lot of jealousy issues and had a lot of pain in his life. You might have. I cannot tell you what this guy's name is. Honestly, I just kind of blanked him out. I would have to actually get with somebody that I knew that actually told me about it. And you have it? Okay. Well, that would be interesting. Yeah. So anyways, let's just send him love. Okay. So the blame, you guys, has to go. The blame of self, the blame of others, all of that needs to go. And what you need to do is become the light. Okay. No matter what happens to you, no matter, what is going on, you've got to be willing to say right now that whatever happens to you is because of the choices that you've made. Okay. So what I'm doing is I'm deciding to make conscious choices, not subconscious choices, which means that I really think it out before I start to do it. And I make a conscious choice on what am I going to do, really thinking it out, because the first reaction is always going to be emotional. Okay. So I'm making conscious choices to decide, like, how am I going to go about this? How am I going to work through this? How am I going to figure this out? Okay. So we want to let go of the blame. We want to let go of that negative energy. And when you're open to that, here's the thing, you guys. Okay. So here's a really biggie. Okay. I don't know if you guys know what a meridian field is, but there's a field of energy that goes around you. Okay. Now I'm not talking about chakras. Okay. It's called a meridian field. Okay. And it's a field. And this field can actually get holes. Okay. And the holes come from attacks. Like some people call it psychic attacks. And so you get your holes when you allow that pain to come in and you absorb it and you feed it. In other words, you're thinking about it, you're feeling it, you're taking it in, you're processing it, you're just all of that, you know. When you're doing that, you are causing a hole in your meridian field. When you create a hole in your meridian field, you start experiencing physical pain. And you can get holes in your meridian field other ways too. Like, I actually got several holes in my meridian field when I got into a car accident, and the pain was so horrible. Like my neck and my shoulder and everything was so, I mean, I went through a full year of some just, you know, it was horrible. And it got to a point where I could barely see any clients, and I was sleeping most of the time. I was constantly in pain. And so I basically, what I ended up doing was, I ended up actually calling in a spiritual healer, and I actually had somebody who channels angels, and I had them channel an angel and ask for a healing prayer. And then I called in a couple of my friends that were healers, and we did like this whole circle of healing. And hi, Laura, how are you? And basically what I ended up doing was we had this healing circle, and everybody was like working on this, and we chanting this prayer that an angel, it was an angelic prayer that was written by a guy who channels angels. And he gave that to me, and we started working on that. And I'm going to tell you something. The next day, I was about 80% of my pain was gone, and I could feel that my meridian field was healing. And so a lot of times, you guys, all this physical pain that you feel is from all this anger and this venom and this pain from holding on to the resentment, because every single pain that you have, it comes from something internal that you're holding on to. So let's just make a commitment that we're going to let all this stuff go, and allow yourself to heal physically, emotionally, spiritually, you know. So I'm going to take a second to look at some of these comments because they're kind of coming in. Okay, I don't know what the jelly bit about is. Is that something that somebody else said? Okay. I think that it's just a conversation that you guys are having. Okay. Yeah, so basically, the bottom line here is, and you guys are like really on top of this, and I really appreciate this. You know, the thing is just, we just have to remember, and no matter how spiritual you are, you're still human. Okay. So you're going to have moments in your life. So you got to forgive yourself for actually falling down and scraping your knee. So if, you know, I'll tell you something that I just did today. Okay. All right. So And I had to have a little talk with myself. And then I had to forgive myself. Okay, so I went to Luby's to have lunch, or really a really late lunch. And I had a little bit of time. And so I needed to eat something. So I wasn't like, stomach wasn't growling while I was doing this video. And so after I finished eating, as I was walking out, there was a guy there, and he said, "Excuse me, ma'am." And he was sitting on a bench. And he said, "Excuse me, ma'am." And I said, "Yeah." And he goes, "I haven't ate, and I need to eat something." And I didn't have any cash on me. I don't ever keep cash. I mean, I might have had like $2 or something like that. And he said, "I haven't eaten." And I said, "Well, sir, I don't have any cash on me." And he goes, "That's okay. If you just pay for it, then, that'll be fine too." And the truth was behind it was I was in a hurry and I didn't want to wait, and the line was long. And so there was a little bit of a, like, I didn't care about the money. I just was feeling like, and honestly, I felt like there was a sense of obligation that kind of came over me. And I was like, oh, this could be a spiritual guide testing me, blah, blah, blah. So I said, okay. And I sat there and I said, and I had this coupon that had for a Lewin platter. And I said, "Here, you can take this." And he's like, "What's a Lewin platter?" And I wasn't like being super nice to him because I was in a hurry. Because I had to get back, I had to start working on my stuff. And so so when he went through the line, I mean, I was just kind of quiet. I just stood there and waited. And then when he went through the line, right when he got up to the front, I handed him $2 and I said, "This is for for your waiter. Make sure that you give her this tip." And then I reinforced that like 4 times. And then as I'm walking out and I'm getting in my car, it's like, I felt like my guides were like trying to tell me, "Shame on you, Michelle. Like, what is wrong with you?" And I was like, okay, I didn't do this with love. I really didn't. And, and it's like most people are like, "Wow, that was really nice of you." Well, I'm a nice person, but I didn't do it out of love. And that was wrong of me. I was too self-absorbed at the moment about getting back and doing what I needed to do. And I felt that I need to make sure that I'm constantly giving back to the world, and I'm always doing service to others and helping people. And he didn't ask for money. He didn't, so he wasn't going to like go buy drugs or anything with it. He was really asking for food. And so I felt that I should provide this for this guy. Like, I needed to do this. And so I didn't allow myself to experience the love that I was giving, and because I was feeling impatient. So when I got in my car, I started to feel guilt about how I didn't allow myself to experience and share the love that I could have done in this moment. And all I was concerned about, and me making that comment about making sure that he gives this to the waiter, because I was concerned he was going to put it in his pocket and go do something else and buy cigarettes or something with it. And this message kind of came to me. Like, it was like, "Michelle, don't you know that by giving him that $2, you're giving him the opportunity to test his spirit on whether or not he's going to give back?" And I really processed that for a second. And I was like, wait a second. Oh, so it's not my job to judge. It's not my job. If I'm going to give something, just here's this money to give to your waiter. Now, he has the right to not give it to the waiter, and that's on him and his spirit and his spiritual evolution and his, contract with the divine and all that stuff. That's all on him. Okay. Whether or not, if he gives back, then he experiences a level of evolution of the soul. And he starts creating good karma. If he doesn't, then he doesn't learn. Okay. He's just expecting and not giving. Okay. But that's not about me. That's about him. Okay. And I had to kind of come to that resolution. So instead of beating myself up over this, I just kind of like had a little talk with myself and said, okay, all right, next time I'll do something different. I'm not going to do that again. And I realized what I did, and I'm taking responsibility for it, and I'm letting it go. Perhaps that's true. Okay. And most of the time the waiters at Luby's really don't do much anyway. I just give it to them because they don't make much money. So, when I went to Luby's, I went and got a big, huge cup of water, and it's to-go cup. So I'm already ready. So there wasn't anything she could bring me. There's nothing she could do. I had my own straw. I had my own to-go cup. I was good to go. There wasn't anything that she could do for me. But the fact that she came over and asked, I still left her $2. And I do this because I was a waitress at one time. And sometimes women that are older, like usually at Luby's and stuff, usually have older women that are working because they can't get jobs at some of the higher end restaurants because they only want to hire 20-year-olds. Okay. And so I feel a sense of that's how they're making a living. So it's not their fault that, this is like a buffet type situation and people don't really feel like whatever. So I just give them money anyway. And so that's kind of, yes. Okay. So Michelle, you're right. I had a lesson to learn out of this, right? I had a lesson that I'm not responsible. It's not my responsibility to tell people what they should and shouldn't do. And that is not, it's like, I believe that this waiter should get $2 in a tip, regardless if they do anything for you or not. And it doesn't matter because they don't make much money, and these tips are part of their income. Okay. And so that's my belief, right? Sisterhood of Traveling Waitresses. Yeah. And so because I believe that, I was trying to impart my own belief system onto this guy. Like, just because I gave you $2 doesn't mean that you're supposed to put it in your pocket. I'm giving you these $2 and trusting that you're going to give it to the waitress. And that was wrong with me, because my lesson was absolutely, I know that I had a lesson. We were all at one time. Yeah. I was a waitress a long time ago. Yeah. So I know the feeling of what it's like, but the thing is that, yeah, this was a lesson for me. Absolutely. And so here's the thing. I'm not perfect. I am not claiming to be perfect. And I don't think anybody is perfect. And if they are saying they're perfect, they're lying to you. They can, most of the time, people put on a big show and they're not honest. And then behind the scenes, they're doing things that nobody knows about. Okay. So I made a vow to myself that it was never going to be that way. And that what you see is what you get. So I'm very vulnerable, and I tell my own truth, and I tell my own stories, and I'm here to help you guys. And because as I overcome things, I show you how I overcame it. And you understand that you can do this too. You don't have to live in this pain. You don't have to live in the resentment. You don't have to hold on to anger. You don't have to be controlling over things. I tend to think that I want to micromanage things because I want things done my way. And because I feel sometimes my way is the best way, hey, I've had experience, I should do it like this, or I know what this is like, I've been there, and that is my lesson, is that I have to let people be the person that, give them the opportunity to do that. Like, by me sitting here making such a big deal about it and saying, no, don't, make sure that you give this to the waitress. Make sure you're giving it to the waitress. Like, I'm not giving him the opportunity to be a good person. All I needed to do was give him $2 and say, here, give this to the waitress. And then he's testing his own soul. And it's not up to me to sit there and watch him and stalk him and say, see, and then come back and say, don't put that in your pocket, you know, that kind of stuff. So let me read some comments for a second. You know, I totally understand, Tim. Yeah, some days it's like that. You know, sometimes you run into people that are difficult to deal with, and that just happens sometimes, you know. But in general, I would say that most of the time I'm pretty easygoing and really nice. The sometimes I get a little way I would call like a little bit of anxiety when I have a lot going on, and I'm like trying to hurry because I got to hurry up and get back in a hurry. I got to get ready. I got to get my makeup on. I got to do this, da, 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 da. And so Michelle, you're absolutely right. You can't control other people, only how we react to them. And that was my fault. I shouldn't have like pressured. I shouldn't have sat there and said over and over like 5 times. And it was really funny because the lady at the cash register, she looked at me really weird, and because she had seen me already get my food, and she goes, "Didn't you already go through the line?" I go, "Yeah." And she goes, "Are you going to eat some more?" And I started laughing, and I said, "No, I'm full." And I kind of giggled, and I said, "I'm just paying for his." And all of a sudden she's like super nice to me because she caught on to what was going on. I wasn't like gonna talk about it, you know. And she just started like being super nice to me, and she's like, "How was your food? Did you enjoy this?" You know. And I really honestly wanted to be a mouse. Like I didn't want anybody noticing what I did. I didn't want anybody to say, "Wow, you're so awesome," you know, that kind of stuff. I really wanted to kind of keep this like quiet, and I really wouldn't have even said anything about what I did if I didn't kind of screw it all up, you know, by trying to be anal retentive about like where he was gonna, you know, what he was gonna do with that extra $2 I was gonna. And you're right, Michelle. It's exactly right. I'm not immune to life lessons. Okay, just because I'm what you would call like at a sage level or something doesn't necessarily mean that I'm not going to be human. Okay. But I acknowledge it like immediately. And I see where I failed here, you know, or not necessarily failed. That's probably a bad word. I see where I was challenged, and I immediately caught it and immediately realized it. And I learned that if I'm going to do something, I'm sort of like next it. Like I'm just sitting here like waiting, going like this, you know, like how much longer is it going to take? When I could have been standing in line asking him about himself and sharing this experience with him, you know. I just stood there quietly waiting for him to get out of the line, you know. Like it's like as if I didn't do it. Like honestly, if there was a scoreboard up in heaven, they would probably erase some points for what I did. And because it's like as if I didn't do it, you know. And that and I realize that now, but at the moment I didn't. And so we all do these things, you know. So what we need to do is be more cognitive. And I guarantee you that if this ever happens to me again, I'm going to be more embraced in the situation. And if I choose to help somebody, I'm going to choose to help somebody. I'm not going to just stand there waiting in the back, you know, with my arms crossed like this, going, how much longer? I got things to do. All right, I'll do this. You know, I got to be a good person, do my good deed for the day. Haven't done one. You know, I pretty much just didn't do it, you know. It's called being human. Yeah, I know. And that's what I'm trying to tell you guys. That's why I'm saying, forgive yourself, okay? Don't hold on to the resentment with others, and don't hold on to resentment within yourself. You've got to try to understand that in that place that they're at, they probably hurt you because they were hurting. So, you know, one thing, if you never watched me on Facebook, one of the things that I always say all the time is hurt people. And so the reason somebody's hurting somebody else is because they are hurt. They've been hurt themselves. Okay. So I really kind of feel like there's a couple of categories that people fall into. Hold on one second. Michelle, you fit every girl I know born in 1966 with this story. How did you know when I was born? You were speaking of severe pain causing a hole in shear. Yes. Okay. So I got into a car accident, Ellie. I don't know. I think, did you hear me telling that story? Yeah. I got into a car accident. It put the pain, because I was focusing on it so much, was causing holes in my meridian shield. And so when I started seeing clients, I was taking on their energy, and it was actually breaking me down even more. So I became subjected to what some people call psychic attacks. And it's not like people are doing things intentionally. It's just like their negative energy was kind of like coming into my my body, and I could feel that. So I deal with people on a daily basis with emotional disorders all day long. So depression, anxiety are the typical things that I see the most of. And I have helped so many people get off of antidepressants and all kinds of stuff. And I really work on the subconscious mind in my work. I work a lot with the brain. I teach people how to, and we do like reprogramming and repatterning and stuff like that. So what I'm dealing with is a lot of negativity. Okay. And so I have to keep my energy field up really high and really strong and really powerful. I mean, like, I have to be a serious light. Okay. And I've never had any problems with anybody's negativity breaking me down. I walk out of here and I'm just as happy as I was when I woke up this morning. You know, there's no, I'm not exhausted, nothing. I just feel really good and energetic, and life is good. But when this happened, it put holes in my meridian field, and the pain, because I was obsessing about the pain because it hurt, and and so and then when their energy came in, it just created it more, and it just intensified it, and my energy level was really low. I was functioning off of about 25% energy. It was bad. It was really bad. I actually had to do supernatural healing to fix it, and I did, and it worked. 24 hours, and I was better. So I'm telling you, you guys, if you have any question whether any of this stuff is real, I'm telling you, I have experienced it, and I believe in it wholeheartedly. You know, if you're just new to a lot of this energy stuff, I'm going to tell you something. This world is so full of energy. And when I start working with people and they start learning things, like I had a client tell me that she was just kind of freaking out. And I said, why are you freaking out? I didn't take drugs. So hold on, let me back up. So I'm kind of getting distracted here. Did the drugs the docs gave you have more to do with? No. So I don't believe in taking drugs. So I am all natural, holistic kind of person. So sorry, my ear is itching today. Didn't take anything. So that didn't have anything to do with it. They wanted to, and I told them no. So I can't take anything anyway. Even if I wanted to, I can't, because of being an empath and the type of work I do. I have to be completely free of anything like that, because I can't tune into somebody if I'm affected by drugs. It's just impossible. If I go out with my friends or something, or they come over and we're sitting by the pool and we're having a couple of margaritas or something, or pina coladas, I mean, that whole empathic stuff goes down the drain. I can't read anybody when, you know, like that. This just doesn't work, you know? So no, I can't do the work that I do if I was on something. So no, anytime that you experience, so this was a car accident, and that jolt can, you know, it can create some holes in the meridian field. Okay. And then when there's cracks and holes and negativity gets in it, it can cause expansions. And then it has like these little holes have like little vortexes. And so they're like, you know, they kind of like suck things in. So when you have holes in your meridian field and somebody's negative energy, it just creates like a little vortex and just pulls it in, and then it causes more issues. So it was, because it was, to me, I saw it as like a spiritual issue, which I think everything is a spiritual issue, but having healing done on me fixed the problem. So that was that solved it from that point on. So anyways, hope that answered your question. But anyway, so the bottom line here is that you guys, if you are under psychic attack, if you're under any kind, if you feel like people are hurting you and it's constantly breaking you down and you feel like it's draining you, you probably have holes in your meridian field, and that needs to be fixed. And as long as you're obsessing and you're thinking about your problems, it's going to fester, it's going to grow, it's going to be like cancer, it's going to eat at you, it's going to destroy you, it will hurt you physically, emotionally, mentally, the whole 9 yards. It's going to destroy you. So you need to forgive yourself, forgive others, and when you're doing acts of service, make sure that you're totally into it instead of doing that. So hold on. Can meridian fields get holes from traumatic emotional issues? Yes. Yes, absolutely. So anytime that you're holding on to negative energy, so your meridian field is light. Okay. So think about it from that perspective. Meridian field is light. So if you're holding on to negative energy, that negative energy can kind of create like drill holes through it. Okay. Okay. So let me see what Ellie has to say. Or I could have been the 2 he needed for his bed for the night. Sweet for you to listen, respond, and create good karma. I'm not really sure what you meant by that, Ellie. Or it could have been the 2. I'm not really sure. Explain to me about what you meant, because I don't really understand that. As far as Michelle, can meridian fields get holes from traumatic events? Back to that issue. Yes. Like I said, I wish I had like a thing that I could create like a diagram or something for you, but negative energy, it's, so basically think of your energy like reaching out into somebody else, and you're kind of like reaching out to this problem. Like, let's say this person hurt you. Okay. So your energy is shooting out like a tentacle. Okay. And it's pulling back, and it creates like, because it's like that negative energy creates that hole because you're pulling it back into you, and it leaves like a little hole. Okay. And so, oh, thank you, Tim. And so it creates like a hole in there. And so the way that you heal your holes is by, you've got to have love energy. Now, I normally can heal my holes with love energy, but I couldn't do it this time by myself, because I was in so much physical pain that I needed help. And so if you get to that point, then it's, it can be kind of difficult to try to do it yourself, because what you're trying to do is generate energy. Okay. Ellie, back to your comment. I'm not really sure. I see that you just talked about being a waitress again, but I'm not really sure what you meant by your last comment. So if you could explain, that would be great. If not, that's fine. So anyways, the way to heal the meridians is through love energy. Okay. That means to be sitting there and generating love and then sending love. Okay. And that because that's all your meridian field is love energy. Okay. So if you're sitting in emotional pain and you're reliving it and you're thinking about it, it's definitely what you're doing is you're creating, like, part of that energy is literally creating like a cord or like a tentacle, and it's reaching out to where that pain originated, that event, and it's connected to that. So it's like it creates like a hole, And that energy from that event, that pain just travels back through it like a little portal. And then let's say you let go of it for a second and the hole's still there. And then other stuff comes in and it creates physical pain. And when that other energy comes in, it can create like all kinds of problems. Like you can start having issues everywhere now in your body. So this really kind of gets into a whole other subject. And it's really quite an interesting subject about how to heal your body and all that kind of stuff. But the bottom line here is that the answer to all of this is to forgive. Forgive others, forgive yourself. And remember, you cannot die from a snake bite. It's the venom that pours through your body after the bite that continues to pour through you, going through you, that kills you. Okay? So when it's not that you got hurt that's killing you. It's the venom from the pain that you're allowing to flow through you instead of releasing it. Okay? What you need to do when you get a snake bite is you sit there and you suck it out, spit it out, get rid of it. So it's time now for you to let go of the blame. There is no justified resentment. No justified resentment. And it's time to let go of the blame. And just start being love. Okay? And you guys need to just stop trying to be a candle and be the light. Yeah, I take venom all the time too, and I'm immune as well. Or actually, I take bites, and I'm immune as well. It's like it doesn't affect me anymore, because my meridian field is very strong. So that's, yes, ma'am, we do. We all grow and we let go of pain. Anybody have any questions before I tally up? I'm going to exit out of here. I haven't heard from Trisha in a while. I don't know if she left because she was feeling bad. She hasn't been talking, so maybe she's just listening. Yeah, beehives. You're funny, Tim. You're funny. If anybody has any questions, real quick before I tally out. And I just got a text message from her, so hold on. Let me see. Hold on one second here. All right, so okay, so basically, you guys, I am going to, yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate it. I guess she had to go. She wasn't feeling good. So you guys have an awesome day. Thank you guys. Okay. You guys are participating. Every time you guys say things, when you participate, when you're active like this, oh yeah, 11 thumbs up. 0 thumbs down. Yay. And you said 12. Actually, I have 11 that says that right now. So yay for you guys. I really, really appreciate it. Oh, there's 12. Yay. I see it. I think it's the delay that I have here. Oh yeah, I'm also a Leo too, so that, yeah. And I'm a life path 8, if that tells you anything. So it's I think she checked out. I don't know. I haven't heard from her for a little while. I thought she sent me a text message, but it was actually somebody else. So I know she wasn't feeling good, and it was actually causing her a lot of discomfort. So let's all send her love. And you guys, thank you so much for participating. All of your comments and everything that you say and everything, there's other people that read, that listen to this stuff. And, you know, so if you don't mind, if you get a chance, if you're on Facebook, share it on Facebook and, you know, or share it somewhere and, you know, so that other people can see and maybe it'll help somebody, you know. I'm here just to help. I go through a lot of things and I learn, and through my lessons, I'm helping you guys, and hopefully we can all help each other. And that's pretty much it. Anybody have any questions real quick? Anybody? You were number 12. Thank you. Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and sign out. So you guys, y'all have an awesome, awesome, awesome evening and be blessed. Send lots of love to everybody and send love to the guy who was saying some bad things. Okay. You guys have a wonderful day. Bye.